In this part of the video, we are going to show you how do you handle the edges. And we are doing a video just about that because I do think that laying down color PPF is actually the easier part. The harder, more difficult part about color PPF is the edges and how do you get it down. What's going on, guys? So we have the Model Y sort of wrapped, not the other side, but we are doing some testing. But we're very impressed with how the film works. Again, this is Miracle Coat. Starlight Green, looks fantastic, works really well. We're gonna start off in this section of the video about, how do you actually get the edges down? And what you wanna do is you actually do need to use some heat. I have a heat gun, actually right here. And sometimes you might not even need to use a heat gun, but you can see right here, this is pretty dry, and I have a wrap glove right here, but look how easy. And what you wanna do is you wanna run your fingers around the edges first, and then making sure the edge right here is completely flat. And then you're going to gradually do that. So this is how you actually properly seal those edges. And I'll show you how do you deal with those corners, right? So if you noticed, this is a common way to handle some of the corners. You kind of make it a little shorter, but you can see once it's dry, it's a lot easier. So sometimes you could do it when it's wet. It depends also on the film. Some films typically recommend doing it this way, and some films recommend you do it wet. It really depends. On this one, I think this is the right way to do it. So on the outer side, the corners look pretty good, but you can see right here, it starts to bunch up a little bit. And the reason why is just the fact that it has a massive angle, right? This is actually not, it's even over 90 degrees, it's more like 110 degrees. So what you wanna do is on this bunching up areas, you wanna use a little torch like this, use high heat, and then basically you're, burning that into it. And look at the corner now. Go from the top. This is what it looks like. So what that does is you're completely sealing that. And I want to go ahead and start doing this because I am going to keep the hood. And we're going to continue wrapping this whole car. I think the series will end here, but I'm sure we'll have more series as we do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do all these. And let me get to a point where I feel like we can start talking about. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it right here. Okay, so you can see right here, I have way too much material, and this is one of the edits that I'll probably make, but I have it right here. I'm going to go ahead and fold this over. Right? But what I actually would do is I have a knife as well. And let me see if we can get some close-ups while I get some materials. Okay. So this is a hack. Tweezers. Knife. Basically, getting this tweezer right here, and then this creates a tension to make a nice cut like that. So then you just pull this away. And then after that, boom, put it in your shirt. That's the trick. So this technique right here, I think for the final version, you're not gonna have to do that. But basically, once you get to that point, you got plenty of edges to fold over like this. You're gonna do the same thing like you did over here. But now that I have a little bit less material, I'm gonna actually put it up here mainly because it's just too close to the other one. I actually don't wanna burn this part of the film. So then once you do this, I'm gonna go ahead and push this down into the corner, and then I'm gonna burn that. And very, very simple burn. You don't want to overdo this, guys. This is a very, very high temp torch, meaning that you just one shot, that's it, right? And then look at this corner right here. This, my friends, is how you do corners on PPF. Right, so perfect. I just had a lot of material in the beginning. So I did this corner and that corner. I think there are a couple areas that do get a little bit harder. So I'm going to show you this right here. So this is a little bit less. I mean, if I were to do this for a customer, I think I would put a little bit more material. But this is a really good example. It actually just kind of folds over in here. You see that? And then after that, once you're ready, you can just use some heat. And this thing isn't going to go anywhere now. I mean, this thing is basically, you want to also, when you're heating, you don't want to actually heat any of the surface areas like that. You actually just want to get kind of like underneath right here. And let's get some close up afterwards. Look at that. Okay. And again, you can go a little bit more than that, I think. It just depends. But I think for a do-yourselfer, that's going to be very, very helpful to actually have a little less. But you can use torch right here as well. But very, very happy with how the film is actually folding over as well. Again, this is, to me at least, for if I'm teaching this to another person, that is going to be the part that is really, really difficult. A couple areas that I do think is a little problematic. That's a lot of tension. So if you look at this, I use hot water right there. You do need to relieve that. So what we'll end up probably doing in those areas is probably J-cut it just a little bit. I'm going to just see if I could maybe MacGyver this a little bit. Just going to watch. Okay, that's obviously not the best, but now that tension is a little bit more relieved, and then it could kind of sit down. So we're going to try to figure out how to better do that. I think we do need to kind of burn that a little bit more. So I think once you find the mount, then you could burn it. And then just kind of feed it in. And once you do that, you kill the memory of the film, and that's why it's not going to go anywhere once you do that. So this is a very common technique that you'll see in the professional. I think these are things, as long as you're not doing all these cuts, it will be pretty doable for a do-yourselfer. But that is how I do most of the corners overall for color PPF, and actually for gloss and matte PPF. So that's a technique that you're going to find across the PPF industry. So that was a lot of fun. In terms of wrapping all of this and kind of learning, hopefully you learned a lot from watching this video as well. And like always, we love teaching people online. So if you have any questions, happy to answer. So leave us a comment and make sure you click on that subscribe button. We're going to have this car fully wrapped while we R&D this, and stay tuned. We'll put it on our social channels. See you later.